Myles. Love always 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 Myles. From me to you, and you are listening to Love Always Myles. Hey, my lovies, and welcome back to another episode. Today, we're going to talk about love and survival. I wonder how many versions of yourself you've had to become just to feel safe in certain spaces. Maybe become quieter, easier, become the strong one. Maybe you learn how to read everybody else's emotions before even they speak to you. But because somewhere along the way, survival taught you that being loved meant being unuseful. And eventually, you get to you get so good at performing that you forget what it feels like to simply exist without earning your place first. Today I want to talk about that. About exhaustion of constantly performing for connection and, and what it means to finally experience spaces where you don't have to. Becoming emotionally hyper aware, always checking the room, trying to prevent conflict, becoming easy to love, people pleasing, emotional labor, that's surviving. I remember maybe some years ago talking to one of my friends, and I think he sent me this post and it said, a person raised of love and a person raised of survival sees the world differently. And it started this whole conversation between us on which one do we think we were raised in, survival or love. And it's interesting because for me, I was raised in love. When I look back on my childhood, when I look back on the experiences that I've had, I don't believe I ever had to survive anything. I don't believe I ever was unseen, unheard, unloved, uncared for. My feelings very much were a place that was my home. In my home, my mom and my dad, they made it a place for me to feel and be open and honest about how I feel. And I never had to necessarily survive until I became an adult and I started dealing with these crazy people in the world. But as a young child, as a young teenager, I don't believe I had to survive anything. But now getting older, becoming more aware and seeing the world and how it is, now I have to. Now I have to survive. Now I'm like reading the room and reading people's energy, and it can be a lot. I think a lot of people don't realize how much of who they are was created from survival. Some of us didn't grow up learning you are lovable just because you exist. Some of us learned be helpful, don't be difficult, keep the peace, don't ask too much, make yourself smaller. And over time, you start building personalities and protection. You become the listener, the fixer, the one understands everybody, the one who carries emotional weight quietly. Because somewhere deep down, you started believing if I become valuable enough, maybe people won't leave. And that's honestly a sad reality. And that's heavy because eventually you stop asking, do I feel safe here? And start asking, what version of myself do I need to be to keep this connection? For me personally, like I said, I never felt that as a kid. or as a young adult, but I feel it now as an adult. In these last couple of years, I have felt that emotion. I have felt, who do I have to become? What do I have to mold myself into? What do I have to do? What do I have to say? What do I have to conform to make you love me, to make you care, to be seen and heard through your eyes? And eventually, I started noticing I was literally shrinking myself little bit by little bit. And it was a lot. It was a lot to digest. It was a lot to go through at that time. Over explaining myself, constantly proving my intentions, fear of being understood, shrinking my needs, emotional exhaustion, walking on eggshells emotionally just to keep somebody around that literally didn't need to be kept, first of all. But that probably wasn't good for me. And who knows, I probably were not good for them either. But that's a hard feeling. That is survival. In real relationships and real connections, you won't have to survive. It'll be genuine, it'll be open, it'll be lovable. And real connections make you feel lighter and not like you're shrinking yourself every 5 minutes to conform into somebody else's box. There's a specific kind of exhaustion that comes from constantly managing yourself, constantly editing yourself, trying not to be too emotional, too needy, too sensitive, too much. And the scary part is sometimes you do it for so long that it starts feeling normal. You become so focused on maintaining connection that you lose connection with yourself. And I think that's why some people feel lonely, even while surrounded by others, because nobody is actually experiencing them. They're experiencing the perform version, the safe version, the manageable version, but not the fully honest one. And eventually your body starts to feel tired because human beings were never meant to audition for love every day. And that to me is just heartbreaking. And it's so interesting because honestly, there's so many people walking around in the world and people really don't know them. They know one side of them, they know parts of them, but they really don't know them. They really don't know their day to day. They really don't know what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what they're experiencing. They literally have no clue. People in marriages, people in friendships, best friends, families, they really don't know the people that they're around. They just know and love the version that is presented to them. And that's sad. You deserve healthy love. You need an emotional reset. Being accepted without the performance. Stop rehearsing text. You stop overthinking your emotions. You stop feeling like one mistake will make somebody disappear. And maybe for the first time, you relax. Love was never supposed to feel like consistent emotional survival. That is literally exhausting. And I know peace can feel unfamiliar sometimes, especially when chaos is what you've adopted. But Unfamiliar does not mean wrong. Some people enter your life and make you feel like you constantly need to prove your worth. And others remind you that your existence was already enough. That's real love. That's real care. At that point in my life when I felt like I was begging for somebody to love me or begging for somebody to see me, begging to be in somebody else's world. Now I finally realize I've done the work and I've trusted myself enough to grow past that, to know that I am enough. And baby, you are enough. Enough on its own. Real connections, real friendships, real relationships, real in depth people, they can handle the real conversations. I see posts like that all the time. Like one conversation will not make or break a relationship. If it does, it was never meant to be in the first place. Stop overthinking the text. Send it. If the person that you're sending it to loves you and cares about you, they will understand. Stop rehearsing the conversation. Let your emotions flow through you. But surviving in this world, it's getting more and more prominent and it's dangerous because some people say it's healthy. Some people say, "Oh, I don't want everybody to know my next move." But you should have certain people that you can be yourself around, that you don't have to perform, you don't have to put on a mask. I get it. Everybody doesn't need to know your soft spot. Everybody doesn't need to see your next move. But there should be certain people that you can breathe and exhale around that can be your safe space. And honestly, even with that, sometimes you have to choose your safe spaces wisely. Because even people that we say, oh, this person feels like home and this person is my safe space, they are still performing. They're still surviving. They're still putting on a mask with you, even though they are your safe space. Are you their safe space? That goes both ways. I've been in relationships where the other person was my safe space, but maybe I wasn't theirs. Honestly, maybe I was not their safe space. Maybe I was not their person. And hey, that happens. But be open and honest and willing and to elevate yourself. Don't let your past be your present. And that all comes back to the first initial quote, like I said. Some people were raised in survival and some people were raised in love. We see the world so differently. But just because you might have been raised in survival doesn't mean you always have to survive. Allow yourself the grace to love, to give love, to be loved. Walk into uncharted territory and let yourself experience something so beautiful. Work on yourself. Breathe, take a deep breath, and become somebody new. Become somebody wonderful. Maybe becoming isn't about becoming someone new. Maybe it's about finally feeling safe enough to stop performing survival versions of yourself. Maybe healing looks like resetting, softening, speaking honestly, asking for what you need, and realizing that the right people won't require you to abandon yourself just to stay connected. You deserve spaces where your humanity is not an inconvenience. And maybe that's where your becoming truly begins. Until next Sunday, love always, Miles.